wine for this video. I'm a little bit nervous about how I'm going to complete this, and we just need to talk about it. Hello, my name is Ragan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about and sharing with you the 23 series on my taste test, have to try, do or die TBR list for the new year. This list has a blend of backlist books, of series that have been around for years, that have massive fandoms I need to get to. It also has some TikTok hypes, some like favorites of all time from other readers, and I just need to finally read them. And most of these books I own, I just haven't got to yet. So my goal is that by the end of 2024, I will have at least tried the first book in each of these series and given it the opportunity and the time that I really want to. So I need like a win and a forfeit. If I read 23 books from these 23 series or more, I get a prize. It needs to be a big one, because if I read all of these, plus all of the books on my most anticipated releases TBR, plus all of the books that I want to read in like my ebook and audio and all the other books that come out, I mean, that's like 100 plus books, which, let's be honest, I'm pushing to reach 50 right now at the end of 2022. So like, you know, I need a big prize. Let me know what you think that should be. And I also need a forfeit. And I'm not really good at like punishing myself, so if you have any like fun creative ideas of what I would have to do if I don't complete these series, like maybe unhauls or something like that, let a girl know in the comments down below. But like, be a girly pop, be a friend, don't tell me to get rid of all my books, you know, just like a soft punishment. Actually, I don't care. Just be as harsh as you want. I need to read these books. Some of these I have owned for like almost 10 years. Okay, these are in no particular order, but I'm going to start with a big one that I have been meaning to read for years, and that would be the Outlander series. It was me spilling wine. White wine? Yeah. Not red wine, white wine. I just spilled wine on my books, oh my god. This is any indication of how this reading challenge is gonna go in the new year. We are already set up for failure. Right, let's try that again. The first series that I want to read is, God, I'm gonna do it again. Here it is. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I have owned these first 4 books for I think 7 years. These were a Christmas present from my Nana. I really wanted them. I started to read the first one when I was a freshman in college. Oh my god, so no, it's 8 years at least, maybe 8.5 years. But I just couldn't get through it being a freshman, like too much else going on in my life. But I adore this TV show. It's so romantic. It takes place in the Highlands originally, and then you just go out and, oh my god, it's so good. I'm sure this doesn't need a huge introduction, but if you don't know, it's about a woman who goes to Inverness on her honeymoon after World War II. She's been married, but her and her husband were separated during the war. Obviously, she was a nurse. He was, you know, in the army or the RAF. And she ends up being transported back in time in some like ruined stones, and falls in love and marries through convenience and circumstance Jamie Fraser. And I actually have a book with Sam Heughan, who plays Jamie Fraser in the TV show, and Graham McTavish, who is another character in the TV show, and they wrote this book called The Clanlands Almanac, Seasonal Stories from Scotland, the City Barnes Noble Exclusive Edition. I would like to read that. I don't know how many books are in this series, maybe 9, but I have the latest release, which is Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone. This is a signed copy from Barnes & Noble. It's beautiful, it's so big. There it is. I think that this series is just like so well loved that people have been following this series for years. When was the first book published? Oh my god, there's so many companion books. Oh my god, this is a whole undertaking. Wow. Tons of novellas, collected novellas. nonfictions about the Highlands. Wow, this is a journey. This is a process. Anyway, I would like to read them. They're super romantic, very dark, very heavy at times. I know there's a lot of trigger warnings, but I love the TV show, like I said, and I will do a rewatch and then watch the latest season, which I have not done because I plan on reading this series while watching, you know? So maybe I will do a video series where we can like watch and read together. If you want to be involved, if you want to read this series with me, let me know so I can set something up because I think that'd be really fun. The second series that I want to at least read, or the first one of, is A Song of Ice and Fire, so Game of Thrones. I have all the books in paperback, plus these beautiful 2 illustrated editions, plus the 7 Kingdoms, which, or is it Knight's Tale? I don't know, it's like a companion novel to the series. I think it's a prequel. Obviously, I love Game of Thrones, but I'm obsessed with House of Dragon. Like, that's my favorite. So I really want to give these books a try. I also have a secret, well, it's not a secret, but I'm going to talk about it in my January TBR video. I have a thing going on where I have 2 surprise reads from my physical library each month, and the odds of me pulling Game of Thrones is going to be quite high just because of how many books are in this series. So I'm really like setting myself up so that I have to read Game of Thrones, you know? Anyway, if you've read the series, let me know what you think about it compared to the TV show. The third series that I want to give a try is, well, on my list that I typed out on my computer, I just typed Cassandra Clare, because I don't know where to even begin. There are so many different lists online that say like what you should read in what order. I've lost track of how many books she has out in the Shadowhunters world. Like, is it 30? I don't think I'm going to start with the first trilogy because I did read a little bit of book 1 a couple of years ago because it was gifted to me and it was just really YA. And then I watched Ragan from Peruge Project. She said in a video to just like skip the original books and just start with whatever comes next because the writing is just so much better. And then like once you want to go back and read the first 3, let me know if you have any opinions about where to start with Cassandra Clare. I kind of feel like I'm not a real reader because I haven't read her, which I know is dumb and like obviously that's not true, but you know, like I can't get with the fangirls. I can't like talk about all of the amazing things and get excited about the amazing exclusive books that are coming out. She has a new one coming out this year, which I think is a conclusion to like her last trilogy series in this world. I don't even know, but Cassandra Clare, I need to read something by her. Let me know where to start. Okay, then we have to retry, because I've already read this first book, but I didn't like it the first time. But I'm willing and wanting to reread The Cruel Prince, which is the first book in the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. She has the new book coming out, The Stolen Heir. So I know everyone's excited about this. I don't think the series needs any introduction. If you're watching BookTube, you know what this series is. But I want to try it again. This is actually a UK arc, which I'm really lucky to have found. Yeah, so I can read the arc. Or should I read the arc or should I read like the final product? I don't know how different it is from the book that was published. So if you know, let me know. And let me know if you like this series because people love Carter and June. And in book 1, like, I was not a fan. I was not a fan of like the boy romance, but people say that it gets better and it changes and there's reasoning behind it. And I'm willing to dive back in now that I've read some darker like adult books that maybe this won't bother me anymore. I don't know. As if this list is not super heavy enough, the other book that I want to try, the other series I want to start, is The Faithful and the Fallen, and that is Malice by John Gwynne. I have not read a John Gwynne book. I've not read Joe Abercrombie. I've not read any Brandon Sanderson. I've not read any major adult epic political fantasy series before. It's always been intimidating to me. I don't know much about this book except that John Gwynne is one of the best-selling authors of all time. People absolutely eat everything up that he writes. So this has been recommended to me so many times through BookTube, through Instagram, everywhere. I need to give it a go. I picked this up for like 50 pence at a charity shop. So yeah, Malice by John Gwynne. It probably doesn't need any introduction. Like, I'm probably the only one in this book sphere that has no idea really what this series is about, other than the fact that I need to read it. So we have it, might as well get into it. I shouldn't even be intimidated. It's as long as a Sarah J. Maas book, if not shorter. I think what intimidates me about these books is like when I think of John Gwen, when I think of these big fantasy authors, I think of like, I don't know, like a tough man reading them, which is probably not the case, but I just don't feel like when I go to that section, that fantasy adult section in Barnes & Noble or Waterstones, I don't feel like I fit in with everyone else who's shopping. It's always like, it's not like me, you know, I'm always usually with the girly pops in YA, in fantasy romance, like picking out something that is not so epic, you know what I mean? So I think I just need to get over my own fear of like feeling like I'm not included in reading this, because it's probably just my own insecurities of like, yeah, Elliot from Elliot Brooks loves this series and I trust her. I trust her opinion. So I'll link her channel down below if you don't know who she is. She's mega, she's amazing. Anyway, Malice by John Gwen. Something more familiar and more in the realms of what I would normally read, and probably what you would normally read, would be These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I have the latest release, Foul Lady Fortune, which I believe is a prequel that has the same characters, settings, etc. in this duology, and then I have the Barnes & Noble exclusive of These Violent Ends, Our Violent Ends, sorry. So I need to read the first one, obviously I need to get it, but this is so pretty. Can I just quickly show you? Like, so gorgeous. The original cover I'll pop up. It's actually pink. And then look at this art. Oh, so pretty. This takes place in 1920s Shanghai. It has to do with rival gangs. It has romance. It has drugs and violence. And people say that they weren't expecting like a horror, kind of like body horror element to it, which grossed them out. So that's intriguing to me. Definitely want to pick this up. Just need to get the first book in the series. Let me know what you think of this one as well, because I've heard some people were disappointed by it, but everyone seems to also love it at the same time. Another one that I own the sequel to is a big one, actually. I feel like everyone and their mother has read this book except for me, and that would be These Hollow Vows, and I have These Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. This is the book. I haven't hauled it yet. It'll be in a haul that's coming out soon, but this is the book. If you watched some of my recent vlogs, that was mailed to my former address. I managed to get it from the person that lives there, so thank the gods for that. Thank the book gods. But so pretty. All I know is that this is a love triangle duology that has fae, and that it's nothing really new, but that people enjoy it. So perfect. If you like Sarah J. Maas, apparently you'll like this. That's me. I'm that target audience, so we're gonna give it a try. The next one on my list is another just author name, because I don't know where to begin, but I have two of their books, and that would be Gina Showalter. I own these two books by her. I think she's written like 50 books, and they all are dark, fantasy, steamy, magical romances. I mean, we have The Warlord. I mean, look at these covers. Like, you know it's something I'm gonna like. And The Darkest King, William's Story, The Lords of the Underworld. These were total impulse buys at Barnes & Noble at Christmas time last year because I had a gift card. Just bought them and then didn't realize that they're like books in this huge series. So if you've read Gina Showalter, again, let me know what you think. Let me know, where do I start? I have been on her website and have kind of an idea of where to begin, but I don't want to read something by her and then be put off. So like, I want to read the best that like kind of gets me into it. So if I don't have to start with book one, you know, if I start somewhere else in her lineup of books, that's totally okay. I just want to be a girly pop, a fan of these works, because her following is massive. People that love Gina Showalter like love Gina Showalter, and I want to be one of those girls. Okay, next up is one that I actually own 4 of the books for, and that would be The Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. You've probably read this series if you've been in the book community for a long time. I did get to page 170, chapter 14, a year ago in book 1, but I think I flew to America for Christmas and didn't bring the book with me, and then like never picked it back up again, but I was having a great time. This is a classic YA kingdoms, epic, romantic quest fantasy. It has war, witches, kingdoms, you know, princesses, princes, love triangles, you know, heartbreak, all of it. I anticipate loving this series. I think it's something that I'm just gonna eat up like popcorn. So I'm excited to give this a try. Super annoyed that this book isn't the same size, but this is actually book 5. I think there are 6 in the series. In the same vein, I also own 4 books in the Witchland series by Susan Dennard, or it might be Susan Dennard. I've heard both. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but again, like, look at these covers. I had to get them. I've been collecting them for several years. Again, haven't read them, but really want to. This is another beloved series here on BookTube that made its way around in the last several years. I need to jump in on it. I'm expecting epic fantasy, friendship, found family, steamy romance. Obviously, this is a witchy series. That's kind of like my theme for the last year and going into 2023. Every book that I love seems to have like witches in it. So if you have a witchy, you know, fantasy romantic recommendation for a girl, you know, let me know. This next one is one that I feel like has been on my TBR forever, and that would be Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. She just came out with Castles in Their Bones, which I've been meaning to read and just haven't gotten to yet. This probably also doesn't need an introduction. I feel like everyone again but me has read this series, this trilogy. This follows a girl whose kingdom was taken from her when she was young. Her family was murdered. The like opposing, you know, kingdom basically conquered hers, and she lives as just kind of not like a slave, but she's just like she's just kept alive as a mockery, and she's known as the Ash Princess because obviously everything that, you know, she belonged to and held dear was destroyed. And it's a YA fantasy with high stakes romance, you know, everything that I love. So I'm excited to read this. This has been on a couple of my favorite booktubers' least favorite lists, but also their others' favorites. But I'm thinking that this is something I'm going to like. I just like precariously stack these books up here. Let's hope that nothing falls. Okay, next book is one that's been on my radar for years, and I've had it for a long time, and that would be Sweet Black Waves by Kristen Perez. This is the first in a trilogy, and I mean, this cover is so pretty. It's a retelling of the tale Tristan and Isolde. I think that's an Irish, I think it's historical. I think it's an actual story of, and Tristan and Isolde is based off of real people about 2 kind of Romeo and Juliet, you know, lovers who fell in love in Ireland. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna go on Google and like look this up in a minute because I'm probably not telling you the correct thing. But this is based off of that, if you know, star-crossed lovers. And it's about warring kingdoms, family feuds, romance. I think I'm gonna enjoy this. If it's anything like the movie, I will link that movie down below, like where you can find it, and I'll pop up an image on the screen of what I'm talking about. I've only watched it once, and it was so long ago, but it's like stuck with me. So when I saw that this book was based on that kind of story, I had to pick it up. So it's high time that I read it. It would not be a TBR of mine if I did not mention Lord of the Rings. I own the series. I've had this on my TBR. I've made announcements about it for the last 3 years, like, oh, I'm reading it, I'm starting it, blah, 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 blah. It's finally time I'm doing it. No, I still haven't done it. I'm a hot mess. So I'm reading it this year. I'm starting with The Hobbit. That's what I'm gonna do. I have a bunch of like companion novels and like I have a ton of like companion reference texts that go along with this series. I cannot go into 2024 having not at least read one of these books because I've been saying I would do it for years. Then we have 2 books by Danielle L. Jensen. I have the first book and the third book, and that would be the Dark Shores trilogy. The second one is Dark Skies. I don't own that one yet. This one is new adult, I believe. This follows a sailor and a soldier, and he and she fall in love and go on a dangerous quest. That's all I want to know. I really enjoy Danielle L. Jensen's works. I don't want to know anything beyond that. I did read on her Instagram that it's like not a pirate romance. This cover kind of is deceiving. By this cover, it looks more like epic fantasy. So I'm curious. I did start this book this year. I got 18, 19 pages in and just didn't continue on for whatever reason. Like, it's a common theme this year of me starting books and not finishing them. But I will at least read the first one in 2023. The last series that I physically own that I want to read and try in the new year would be the Winter Night trilogy. I've talked about a lot by Catherine Arden, starting with The Bear and the Nightingale. I've talked about this in so many videos. I will link one up and above and down below. Check it out if you don't know what it's about. It's based in Russia, romantic, has a lot of mythology. It's dark, it's heavy. I feel like it's very atmospheric. It's very cold. Yeah, you know. Oh, there was one more that I own, the first one up, and that would be Roar by Cora Carmack. This is the first in a trilogy. Storm magic, arranged marriages, warring kingdoms. This cover is beautiful. I really want to read this. I've had this one for years as well. High time that I finally get to it, and it's rumored that the third book is coming out in 2023. If you haven't seen my most anticipated releases for 2023, I will link that video up above and down below. I had so much fun making that. Like, I'm so excited for the new books coming out in the new year. But I also need to make room and time for this massive pile behind me. It's getting dark. I've been sitting on my knees making videos for like 2 hours. Okay, the series that I am most wanting to read and try that I have seen being hyped up on TikTok and Instagram this year is Zodiac Academy. I don't even remember who that's by. I'm gonna pop up the image of the series on the screen. I've seen this everywhere, especially Bookstagram. And I have looked it up. The first one is free on Kindle Unlimited in the UK at least. It's about two sisters that are witches, I think. It has to do with like horoscopes. It's at an academy. It's lots of like angsty romance, and I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what the series is about other than the things I just said and the fact that everyone loves it. So I'm gonna try. When I read the description on Amazon, it sounds a little young adult, like a little bit too young for me. I don't usually read things that take place at like a high school, but everyone's obsessed with this series, and there are like 8 books out or something already. So I'm going to give the first one a try. I'm gonna read it on Kindle Unlimited. If I end up loving it, I will buy the physical copies of the books. Let me know if you've read it. What do you think? Are you in with the hype? I don't know, but that's like my TikTok hype book. Other than the other series, this one's kind of tentative. I might switch this out with something else. Yeah, okay, so this next one on the list is one that I'm a little bit tentative of. It's another hyped book that I feel like I just need to try, and that would be King of Wrath by Anna Huang. I've seen this everywhere on TikTok, and then I've now seen it in the bookstores, so everyone's reading it. This is an billionaire romance arranged marriage trope that's explicit, violent. It's a dark adult romance. That's all I know. She does have her Twisted Love series as well. Everyone's reading that too. So I want to try to read one. I don't think they're related, but I want to try to read one of them. If you read like dark adult contemporary romance, let me know if you like these two, and if I should give them a try or if I should try something else. I can switch it out if you recommend something else. Another series that I don't own, but I really would love to give a try is the Gilded Wolves series. Is that? Yeah, I think it's called The Gilded Wolves. It's a trilogy. But book 1 is Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi. I love her writing. It's so lush, so whimsical and like poetic. But this one doesn't sound as like fairy tale-esque. It takes place in the late 1800s in Paris and follows like what I think is a found family, might be a found family trope, of thieves. We have a dancer, a historian, I think we have a soldier, and they're setting out on a quest to uncover this artifact. And I just think that sounds fantastic. The series is super popular. Fairy Loot has some beautiful additions that have come out this year. So I think I'm gonna love this series. I had said that if you like Six of Crows, you would like this, and I did enjoy that duology. So yes, I would really like to read this one. It's been on my Amazon wish list for a long time, and once I find a good copy, I will pick it up. Then we have the From Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. As you probably know, I am reading From Blood and Ash. I've been reading the third book for like 10 or 11 months now. This is a companion series slash prequel series, but also you're supposed to read it in publication order along with the From Blood and Ash series. So I don't know. I need to get to it. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that one because I don't know much else and I don't really want to spoil myself, you know? Then I really want to try The City of Brass, which is the first book in the Dagobah trilogy by S.A. Shakabori. This is something that I've had my eye on since it came out. I love both the US and the UK covers, really beautiful. This takes place in Cairo in the 1800s, I believe, and it follows a woman who's a con artist, palm reading, sleights of hands, that kinds of thing. She ends up going on this like magical adventure quest with Jinn, and there's, you know, like fire magic and ancient beings and sweeping deserts, and like I love Arabian fantasy, and that probably was not the best synopsis I just gave you, but it's everything that like attracted me to this story. So I definitely want to check it out. I think this series is complete as well. As if this list is not long enough and I'm not overwhelming myself completely, I do want to read the Fever series by Karen Moning. I read most of the first book when I was in college, and this is a urban paranormal fantasy romance series that I believe has 5 books. It follows a girl in Ireland and her sister went missing, and she ends up like encountering this evil, you know, romantic fae. Yeah, I don't remember much else beyond that, but Ireland, fae, urban fantasy paranormal romance, like sold. I need to try it. Again, there's a big fandom for this series and for this author. She's written a lot and I need to get back into this world because I remember liking it. Plus I studied abroad in Ireland, and I think I had just studied abroad in Ireland when I picked this up, so it was like totally atmospheric for me and I need to go back to it. I think she went to Dublin. Yeah, anyway, it's cool. I want to read it. Oh my god, that list is so big, but there's one more space available. So for the 23rd series that I need to read this year, otherwise I need to do some sort of big forfeit. I want you to choose. I want you to drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think I should read, what you want me to read, and the book, the series that has the most suggestions will be the series I read. I will also open this up to Instagram as well, so if you want to vote twice for the book and series that you want me to try. You know, there's just like never enough time to read all the books in our library, but this year I really want to dedicate myself to the books that I own, the books that I have purchased with my own money, the books that have been gifted to me, whatever the case may be. I want to read them, I want to give them the time of day, and I want to know if I've been lugging around books that like I don't like. You know, if I've had a book for 8 years and I haven't read it, why continue holding on to it? You know, I need to give it its time to shine. So anyway, that is it for today's video. That was such a long video, I'm so sorry, but I hope I've inspired you to like pick up more books on your shelf. Let me know what I should do for my forfeit, what I should do if I win. If I win and like if I complete this list, what do I need to do? It needs to be like something big. Please, something amazing. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have finished this video, thank you so much. I love you. Drop a... what should we drop? Let's drop the Disco Man emoji down below, celebrating the new year and all of the goals in the new year. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye. R.I.P. the kiss of deception. I'm so sorry.